Hi. We're back. We're doing some game dev. Battle system. I've made a little bit of progress. I've changed the action queue system in a notable way, which we will get to, but first, just to demonstrate where we stand right now. We've got our little battle scene. There's absolutely no UI. It's just hotkeys for now. You go in. There's going to be some kind of little mini-game thing of, press the button at the right time. And then, pow! And then there you go. That's it. That's the attack. And then you can do it again. Oh, pow! Cool. There's no actual damage being dealt, but we get a nice little indicator. We can set the number to whatever we want. It's a fun little animation. We actually do a little spin around for reasons, I don't know. Wow. He also spins back around, which, that's just a thing. I don't know if there's a good way around that. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, we need to talk balance, which it's way too early to talk game balance. But we are going to try and get some kind of little ranged attack of fire something up in the air and it lands straight down on enemies. So here's the issue. And Thousand Year Door, I feel like Thousand Year Door got lucky on this. Well, I guess Paper Mario 64 is what did this, but I feel like it got lucky. Mario has two basic attacks in that game. Hey, Jen. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Dubless. The first attack you've got... Oh, good timing. There he is. There's the old troublemaker himself. GameCube. Terrible person, Raid. Hey. Welcome in, GQ. Hope the World Championship NES edition, whatever. I have no idea what the game is called. Nintendo World Championships NES. Did you get all? Have you actually gotten all S ranks, or are you still just all A's and above? What is your lowest rank clear? Assuming you've cleared everything. Not even all A's yet. Okay. Oh, let's see. Kirby. You have cleared all now. But that's it, though, right? That's the game. Is basically here's 100 or so snippets of a dozen NES games. Like, that is the game, right? It's going on the shelf. All right. There it is. That's it. I feel like, okay, I haven't actually sat down and watched the game played at length, aside from what I've seen you play, which is just like, here's a game, clear it in under the par time. That takes about a minute to do once you get through all the animations. Yeah, it's got all kinds of games in there. Grab the mushroom, you're done, that kind of stuff. Micro games, even. And I feel like that's okay. But gosh, it's not like... You know how they've done a lot of like, okay, the Wii U game, but then we're going to port it to the Switch, but make it better in some way. I feel like this was kind of them sort of doing that for NES Remix, which I think was Wii U, right? Was that Wii U or was that Switch? I think it was Wii U. I feel like NES Remix was probably a better game, right? It was Wii U and 3DS. Like, I didn't see much of NES Remix either, but like that looked pretty cool, right? That did some interesting things. This is doing, you will play 5 seconds of this NES title you will do this 100 times and you will pay us $60. Video games, ew, video games stink. Pow. They're very similar, okay. Let up on the leash a bit. I feel like it's, I don't know, there should have been some kind of glue or something. Like what, at the very least, like what if there was a cool world map? People like world maps still, right? Like world maps are still good, right? That's not just a My Generation thing. Don't worry, the frogs will not be enemies in the game. In the actual game, the frogs will just be villager NPCs. Inject a timer into any NSO game. That would be interesting. That could be interesting, Al. Like, they obviously went through a lot of work to inject things into the game engines. No, the robot is the protagonist. Anti-hero. But like, yeah, like the fact that they're able to like give you directions on where to go, highlight things on the screen. It's like they've obviously built an engine around these NES games in an interesting way. Yeah. The robot gets a virus and goes bad. He catches a cold. Ow. All right, we're gonna talk game balance. It's way too early to be discussing game balance, but we're gonna do it anyway. Because it does sort of affect what we're going for. The other attack that we have planned to build out next is fire something into the air off screen and it lands on an enemy. That's it. That's your way of attacking airborne opponents. Okay, so here's the issue. Paper Mario 64, Mario gets two basic attacks. Jump on things and hit things with a hammer. Regardless of how enemies are laid out, there is at most one enemy you can hit with a hammer. The one that is closest and has to be on the ground. However, the number of enemies you can jump on is any enemy as long as it's not spiky or damaging to touch in some way. Welcome in, bruh. So this gives you an interesting thing because some enemies hurt to touch, like to come into contact with, whereas some enemies are just not accessible unless you're in the air. And so you get this kind of Venn diagram of enemies you can attack with hammer versus jump. And usually jump means you physically can reach any enemy, like even the ones in the farthest back row. Whereas hammer, you can only reach one enemy, but you're doing it from a safe, like you're standing a foot back, so you're not actually making contact with them. So hammer is usually safer, but jump is usually able to hit a wider number of enemies. Toss a spinning gear into the air, giant gear rolls by, stops and grinds, and see, that would be a cool special attack if we're doing special attacks. Maybe the gear does 2 times 1 damage and the air attack does 2 with timed hits. Possibly. I mean, it could just as easily be it throws 2 things into the air that are weak. Yeah, the problem is that it should be that the attack where you physically make contact with things and therefore expose yourselves to hazards. Aw, thanks, Murdex. It should be that the thing that exposes you to hazards is the one that actually is able to hit anywhere on the screen, versus the one that you're kind of safer with should be more restrictive. So in this case, it's like this is the one you're making contact with. You know, if we scoot them up a little bit closer, it'll look a little bit better. You make contact with that one, versus firing something into the air, you're well out of range. I don't know if that's something I need to be worried about or not, but it's noteworthy. That is something we should consider. Maybe some enemies can reflect. That could be a good one. What about gun? Well, see, Sammy, that still presents the exact same issue of we want to be restrictive to the player. We want it to be that striking an enemy is either hard to do or comes with risks in some way. Pow. Galvanized square steel. Now we're talking. The reflect idea is... Let's see. Reflect. So it basically comes down to projectiles of any kind, perhaps. So we were talking previously about some enemies having some kind of, like, helmet shield. Firing something lowers your defense. That's an interesting idea. That it almost feels like that gets, like, deeply strategic. Goo. Yeah, the idea of something getting reflected, that's possibly viable. All right, let's see if we can do this. We're gonna try and build a basic attack with the system we built. I mentioned we're gonna discuss this, and now we're gonna discuss it, the change I made. So formerly, we had this action queue, the list of things that are going to happen when you press something on the menu. Like you choose to attack this enemy, well then, this is gonna be what happens. And it's gonna happen this until this step is done, this until this step is done, this until this step is done. It's gonna go one step at a time. So this first one, move the player in front of the enemy. It's gonna wait, it's gonna process this step until the player is standing directly in front of the enemy. Then it will move to the second step, which is change animation. Once it has changed the player's animation, then it will start the action command minigame. Then, once that has been completed, it'll do the next thing and the next thing. That worked pretty well until it came down to doing this damage stuff. I want those things to happen independently. And I'm gonna pull up Paint, because we're gonna discuss this here. Actually, let's get out the drawing pad. We're gonna diagram some things. You guys like diagrams, right? Kids love diagrams. You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding if you don't like diagrams. No, GQ, you love them. Okay. Cool. All right. Oh, true. Okay, so we would want step one to be, move the player. Step two to be, okay, now that the player's there, wait for spacebar. And then, as soon as the player hits the spacebar, we want the player to start spinning. And then during that process, we want the enemy to play its hurt animation. We want the damage to appear. We want to wait for half a second while the enemy's hurt animation plays out, and then shift the enemy back to idle. Oh, but this whole time, after the player spins, we want to wait and then move player back. So wait a second. So we've got this block right here that is kind of independent of this stuff here. So the new solution, we no longer have a list of actions. We instead have a list of lists of actions. So it more looks like this. We have two separate lists that are being worked on, and each list processes its own steps independently of the other list. So player starts spinning, Then we inject this stuff into a new list at this point. So while the player is doing its little animation, the enemy, meanwhile, is changing its animation. We are spawning the little damage stars. We are waiting a set amount of time for this animation to play, switching to another animation, and the player is going to return at whatever its normal pace is, all completely independently. This is an improvement. I don't know if it's going to be the final way this all works, but it's definitely better. It definitely makes it easier to manage these different processes independently, especially for action commands that maybe you press a button multiple times and each time it's possibly dealing damage. You want the enemy to take that damage, to react accordingly, and then the player can keep on doing its little action command. It's gonna be good. So let's try and build, at some point, the action command success or failure, the actual interaction, we're gonna have to branch. Because think of the Paper Mario example. When you try to jump on an enemy, at the moment you hit the enemy, we have to determine, oh wait, are you actually able to do this without taking damage? Did you miss? Does the enemy have some kind of counterattack that it can do? All this other stuff. So that is important. So we are going to make a new thing entirely, somehow. I don't know how exactly. Oh boy. Okay. So, all right, let's just do, you press the button, a thing gets fired into the air and falls down. Like, you press the action and it prompts you to press space, and when you press space, it fires a thing into the air and that lands on the enemy, and that causes damage. That's gonna be what we're doing. How are we gonna do that? All right, so we're gonna have a new action cue here. We're basically overriding whatever we just did. So we're not gonna move the player. Instead, we're going to, we'll go ahead and let him do an animation change, do an action command. But then there's a problem right there, because currently, what does action command do? Okay, it just waits for us to say yes or no. Okay, good. So when we have actually pressed the button, then we will generate a sprite, a new sprite. The new sprite, what is that going to be? It's going to be, I guess, an attack of some sort. Let's just use that star from earlier. It doesn't even have to be that. It could just be a block of color. Is Germdove doing another one of those things? Whatever they're called. Let's have a folder for, I have no idea where to put. Let's just make a folder for individual attacks. And within that, we're gonna have a folder for test projectile attack. That's a good one. Test projectile attack, perfect. In that, we're gonna copy the star. Just for now, we'll replace it later. What programming language? It is GDScript. It's basically Python. It's very much like Python. Almost entirely. It's not quite one-to-one, but that is the most related language that comes to mind for me. All right, we're gonna create a scene. Let's just make it 3D, sure, and call it test projectile. All right, test projectile looks like this. There it is, beautiful. It's gonna have Sprite 3D. That Sprite 3D in turn is gonna use a star as a projectile, and it's going to be scaled down. And you know what? It's gonna have an animation. It's gonna spin around. We're gonna make it spin constantly. It's gonna use the rotation, and that's going to just do linear 0 to 360 on the y-axis. Go. Perfect. Except let's make it faster. And also, let's also make it spin around on the z-axis while it's doing this too. Wow! Pew! What a projectile. You know, let's make it spin around on all 3 axes. Wow! All right, great. We got it. There's our animation. Too many chats. Okay, so test projectile there. So now we go back to our battle script here. And we're gonna need a function for, I guess, basically for creating, like loading and firing a scene off, which is ugly, but we'll deal. So we're gonna make a little action scene for create sprite. Where are those gonna live? I don't know yet. Sprite paths. So one weird thing then is these bindings aren't going to return the value. Does GDScript GDScript pass by reference? Does that help? Does that help? Okay, it's basically just create an object, pass it back with the modified variable. Okay, that's doable. Sure. That's fine. We're doing a lot of stuff in ugly ways for a bit. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. So when we create a sprite, we're going to load the path. Create an instance. We need to actually add it to the scene somehow. Not sure exactly how that works. And I guess also we need to take in a location. let's call it just position. And then we need to add it to our scene. So let's just add it to this because I don't know what else to do here for now. Just create a sprite. Okay, so we're going to create a sprite. It is test projectile, so copy that path. Ooh, that's ugly. We're just testing for now. Path position is going to be the player's position. And then the bindable here is sprite holder. So make sure sprite holder dot pinned our instance so we can pass it back by reference. And just return true to say that, yes, we successfully did the thing. Look at us go. And then let's pause there. Let's see if this works so far. Do we get a star when I press 6? No. No. Oh. There we go. Cool. Okay, so that does work. 6. Why does it take a minute for it to be done? He's gonna blow! That doesn't make sense that it takes a minute. Oops, doesn't like that. Why does it take a minute there? What's the delay on this binding here? Action command bind. It's right. Process battle actions. Print action queue dot size when that happens. 2, 1, 0. It's empty. What removes that text? Action command text. That's our notes on different action commands from other games. Yeah, when test action comes up here, oh, it waits for 1 second after you press the button. Let's have it wait for 0 seconds. How about that? I might like that better. Pow. Oh. Pow. 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 Oh. Oh. Oh my. Doesn't work great that way. Okay, is done equals true. And when it's done, add delta. If it's greater than 0, then remove it from the queue. Oh. But that, okay, because action command. Yeah, we're looking for it to be done. It has to actually find it being done before it does that. Okay, so we can just temporarily just include a brief window where it's removable. Or move it there. That might actually work. Guessing letters. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Bow. Star. Okay. Now we need to move that star. So the next piece of our action command would be... Okay, so this is actually okay. This wasn't the problem. The next piece of it would be move actor. I see. That's tricky. Because it's going to bind that immediately to that parameter. Okay, temporarily. Always temporarily. Move actor functionality. Have it print for me. Is this a function? Is this a function on the actor object? No, it's not. Which makes sense. Oh, yep. Be right back. Everything's great. Wow, Al. That's how you do it. Okay. Alright, so I think size if equals actor sub 0, maybe? This might work. In which case we can move this to player position plus vector3.up times 1. Just move it up 1 and see what happens. Nope, doesn't like that. Invalid get index on array. Well. But all the way up here. Position. Hang on. Let's see the log on this. Show me the output. Projectile comes in from an array. Alright. So that's not it. It's complicated. Type of Type string type. Okay, so let's do this. Tell me what the type is. Array. Okay, that's what I was expecting. So we can probably more cleanly do this with this. But can I not? Maybe I can't. Okay, that should work. That should work. Nope. Invalid set index. No, hang on now. Try to tell me what that is. It's a projectile. It's not a node 3D. It's a it's a node 3D. It doesn't have a velocity. Ooh. Doesn't have a velocity. That makes sense. It's not a character body, it's just a node. I could make it a character body. Or just do different things based on if it's a character body or not. Do this, but without this. What type is this? Object. Okay, that doesn't help. That doesn't help me to know if it's a character body or not. I mean, sometimes just a regular node feels like it should do the trick, but I guess character body. Oh, nice, Al. Shame about that quest, though. Like, I can do different things based on if velocity is in actor. Or if it's not. In which case, instead of this, instead of having a, oh no, I've seen a potential issue here. Which is, I don't have delta in this function right now. Which is not the best. But we'll see. See, moved it all the way over there. It's not what I wanted. Nor do I... Oh, plus equals. Okay, okay, it worked. It did work. Wasn't the most beautiful, but it worked. Okay, moving on then. Move it up by 10 at a speed of 4. Now move it faster than that. Move it at a speed of 8. Pow! Yes, I'm still listening. Oh gosh, where's that tab? All right, so when that happens, then after you move it there, move it to enemy dot position, and then move it. You move it above the enemy position, then drop it on the enemy. And when it hits, cue the enemy hurt actions. And we can change the player animation to idle, like, right after we create the sprite. Okay, let's try this. This might be the full thing. Ooh, pow! Oh, gosh, there it is. It took a minute for it to get there for some reason. That was... Oh, it's probably going way too high. Let's only go up 7 units instead. Pow! Where is it? I need to find it. Where is it? Where is it? Is it -2? Oh, it's overshot. Okay. Hi, Hudson. You know what? That overshooting is something that I was aware could happen. I need to do a move towards. Move from, all right, position, new position is old position, to target position by speed. Okay, that should work. So then you, pow! It doesn't like that at all. Vector 3 to float. Which of these is a float? Oh, they're all supposed to be. What? Oh, surely there's a Vector 3 move toward though, right? Is there not? Is there not? Oh, okay, you do Vector 3 dot move toward. There we go. That's how you do it. Enter too early. You're not top 900 for the game now. It's not moving towards the target position at all. I don't see it moving towards the target position one bit, guys. I don't know. I don't know about this. Actor dot position gets. Move the actor dot position toward the target location at a speed. That should be right. Al knows what it's all about. Returns a new vector. Will not go past the final value. So it returns a new vector. So actor.position.move towards gets an actor.position. All right, let's try this. Shouldn't have to do this. And let's increase the speed by a lot. Getting no changes here. Where's target location here? Target location should not be the actor position. Or if it was, then... originated in Minecraft. There's a Roblox one too. Oh gosh, there it goes. Okay, so the speed was... it was a speed issue. Or something. So now it's not moving anymore. Is there a minimum? What's the delta problem here? Can you play Roadblocks, please? Then it works abruptly. I feel like if I go 8.5, it's gonna stop working. No? Okay. 10? 10. 10 is a problem, apparently. But 8 is not. Is 9 a problem? Why is Move Toward giving me weird behavior here? Look at this. What is happening here? It is not move towarding unless the speed is high enough. All right, I'm gonna try a speed of 0.5. Just hard coding it in. And it works. All right, speed of 1/4. Still works. For some reason. Okay, okay. Why? Why though? Print speed. And also print speed over 60. Oh! I get it, 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 I get it. I fixed it. I fixed it. Integer division. Pow. Cool. All right. So we can actually speed this middle one up significantly. Okay. Could go a little bit faster there. I wonder how high does it need to go realistically? Like, what if we only go up by 4 units? Is that off screen enough for us? Not quite. I actually saw it zipping about. Zipping about up there. Alright, here we go. Then that's our attack. And then we need to delete sprite. Thank you, Hudson. They're coming along. All right, so we've got our create sprite, and we need our delete sprite list. Right? Do we need to do this or just... yeah, we should manage this here. For sprite in sprites, sprite dot cue a freak action. What? Okay, so when it hits, that is when we bind the delete call to sprite holder, and that will delete the star. Here we go. Pow, pow, pow. Oh no, it doesn't like that. Oh, I forgot to return true. Pow. All right, there's our. Look, we made an attack in like 30 minutes. It's not a pretty one, but it is a new attack at least, and it shows that our system is sound. this idea of having different things we can do. Now this synchronous loading is probably not good. Currently, we're not seeing any problems with it, but I think that in the future, doing it that way, we are going to experience some stuttering. So we need to make sure that we have some kind of system. We're not going to design it tonight. It's way too early in the process. We don't know what anything looks like in the future. But calling it out that we're going to need some system to actually asynchronously load these other scenes when a battle starts if we know that they're necessary. Like loading up all the projectiles that enemies have or that the player has available to it. So that's a thing. That's a thing that we'll keep in mind. I guess the enemy needs to attack, huh? That's not gonna be too bad. Movement up is weird because this thing has gravity. So I need to watch out for that. Be advised, it has gravity. Let's just make him go up into the air and come back down. So let's have, in addition to the ability to move an actor to a specific location over time, let's have a, well, I guess set flag almost does the trick because we could set velocity using set flag. All right, let's do it. We're gonna have a third possible action here, which is the enemy walking towards the player. So we're gonna move enemy. Oh wait, move in front of. Move enemy to player. Now this one's weird because move in front of does not do what you might hope, does it? Oh wait, no, it does. It takes into account which direction you're coming from. Well, good. Yay, past Dobbs. Just everywhere. Danger, gravity. Warning, there is gravity. We're gonna have it move towards the player, then we are going to set flag of enemy. We're gonna set velocity equal to vector 3 dot up times, I don't know, 2. That's probably enough. Then we're gonna wait for some amount of time I don't know about. Ooh, I wonder if we can have a wait for condition. Because actors do have a is on floor function. I think a wait for condition would be very useful. Currently we have a wait a set amount of time. Let's have a wait for condition, and it takes in a lambda function. I don't know how to do those yet. And return the results of the lambda function, and that's it. Ooh, that's gonna be tough. Okay, high, short. We just connect bubbles. I hate it. I hate it. I understand that it has its place and it is valuable for people who may not be as familiar with code, but I like lines of text that I can like scroll up and down at through quickly and copy massive blocks and paste them in. I want that. How do you do a lambda or anonymous function in GDScript? Object.call. Oh, but it's gotta be by function name. Ooh, wait, hang on. That's not what I want. Okay, so what I want, effectively, is I want to wait for condition dot bind, and my condition would be, here's an example of a lambda function apparently. Wait for enemy dot is on floor. And it's just going to check that every frame, and it'll return true when it happens. So now, how do we actually call that? GDScript pass anonymous function as variable. How to pass? Nope, not in JavaScript. Array functions. Come on, how do I call that lambda? I mean, obviously, filter has to work. Okay, so there's a great example here. Godot script has a .filter function, which takes as a parameter a lambda. So it has to be possible, doesn't it? I guess filter doesn't have to be GDScript. Ooh. Filter callable. Method callable. Okay, maybe that's how I do it. Maybe that's how I do it. I have to specify that it's a callable, and then I just call it. No, I know it's, oh wait, dot call. That might be it. That might be it. All right. Wait until enemy's on the floor, and then when the enemy lands on the floor, then we're gonna do we're gonna do player hurt actions, which actually I guess enemy hurt actions is basically the same thing, but we're gonna change it to just a generic hurt action, and instead of enemy, it's just gonna be any ol' actor. So that way we can trigger queue hurt actions for the player, and then enemy goes back home. Enemy go back home is easy. Oh, but we do have to make the enemy walk backwards. We have to specify that we want them to not turn around and go back. They have to actually walk backwards to get home. Okay, I think we've done it. We haven't tested any of this, but I think this should make the frog walk up to the player, jump into the air, and when it lands, that deals damage. Let's add a short wait. And then the enemy walks back home. Let's see. Let's see how good we are. Over, under. What are we thinking? Is this gonna work? Here we go. Okay, I think the enemy just got hurt there instead of the player. Player doesn't have a hurt animation now that I think about it. Oh, and I did still say Q action for... There we go. So, player doesn't have a hurt action... Wait, yes he does. Does he? Did I make that? I might have made it. He doesn't jump very high. Oh yeah, look at that. Except the wait should happen after we Q the hurt. And this, we need to make him jump a lot higher than that. All right, here we go. Go. That looks fine. Also, I guess the frog actor's jump animation does not need to be looping. Not sure what's happening there. It wasn't set to loop. Okay, there we go. Boom. Hey, we have, all right, it's extremely rudimentary, but we now have, yeah, that's the idea. Goes there, does damage. Can't block it yet. We'll work on that. Okay. Okay. Gotta have the commerce scepter. I still don't like that he's, like, hopping back and forth. I wonder if I can just really quickly have... Pull up the remote. Actors. Okay, he's called Frog Actor Farmer. Oh yeah, there's something going on there. Jump, reset, jump, reset, jump, reset. Why does he think he's supposed to be doing that? Why does he think he's supposed to be doing that? Oh, because he is in the jump function? Super Smash Brothers. They set him to jump like 4 times because he was in the air. Oh, maybe it's because the jump animation is not looping. That might be all it is. Well, I've done something terribly wrong. I made the animation. I made the reset animation. Okay, yeah, there we go. Jump, loop. There we go. There's a bit of a delay. Don't worry about that. Okay. This is a milestone, I think. We have the ability to have both the player do an attack animation, enemies do an attack animation back. We have built a system where it's not that many lines to describe a complete attack. Okay. That's it. There's a lot more. There's a lot more to be done. Where do we go from here? Pokemon Skulls? Like, this already feels like a great chunk. I'm very hesitant to move into actual selecting actions from a menu. But, hey, I mean, I guess we do need that, don't we? Now, how does that work, though? We need a system that we can pass in a list of options, and it will render them. It needs to recalculate based on game state. Not every frame, just when we create the menu. Consider when the battle starts, you might have 5 mana, and then I'll kick one off. And then when you've used up some of your mana, you might not actually have enough left, and so the next time that you pull up that menu, we have to gray out certain items. It should support displaying images. Oh, there you go, Al. I guess you're swimming in tokens, so you can do that. On account of winning all the mini-games. I was gonna say Spruce Slab. It's always Spruce Slab, but it's not. Not this time. Just guess a letter, Al. Just guess a letter. What's the worst that could happen? Never guess letters. So true. All right, all right. Oh, we're not letting this go for a 30-minute extended loop. It's a 6-letter word and then a 4-letter word. Okay, we did already do a little mock-up. Pull this up. Oh, it's one of these files. Okay, that's fine. Warped door. Ah. Okay, so here's the basic idea, maybe. And this doesn't seem super basic now that I look at it. All right, let's make a small menu, I guess. Battle manager? Is that where that needs to go? I feel like that needs to be its own unique thing. Like we need a whole nother node just for managing the menus. Does this menu need to be available outside? Like the system we build, does it need to be available outside of battles? Like should this be the same menu used for shops and all this other stuff? Like maybe we need to build a generic menu scene that we can pass in a list of text, text and icons, and then that handles the navigation, looping when you get to the bottom, all those fun things, and also actions to perform on item selection. Yeah, because also sometimes you'll be falling back a level of menu. How are we doing that? There's so many mini games going on right now. Motoro. Like first you select I want to do a gear-based attack. Then it's like, okay, which gear attack do you want? Like, I want this one. And then it's like, okay, now which target do you want? And you're like, cancel. Then it needs to bring up the previous menu. So let's, for now, let's create a menu. Let's create a folder for, what are we gonna call this? Oh yeah, she is. I'll go check it out. What's it gonna be? So let's make this. Oh gosh, what do you call this? Selection menu sounds entirely too vague. Generic menu. Iconed menu. Let's just say combat menu for now. We will almost certainly change this. All right, so that's a new scene. It's a user interface called combat menu. Now, menus are always my weakest thing. Like in every game project I work on, menus wind up being awful. Alright, so what we need is a vertical box container. Make a track called Ribbon Road, the nerve. Vertical box container. And in that, we are going to have one or more things. Let's just get a thing. Let's just get a thing going. A selectable thing. A panel. Panel sounds nice. Okay, contains a panel. That panel in turn contains a label. And then we need to use a style on this. UI shared dialogue thing? Is that the one? Maybe. I could see this working. Dialogue box theme. Dialogue. I don't know which one is which. This looks pretty nice. That's a theme. Oh, this is a style box. Wow. Okay. So, can I apply this to the panel? Yes. Now, it is going to get a big old shadow. I don't want it to actually be the same as the dialog box, now that I think about it. So we're going to duplicate the theme and call this combat menu item. That's the one that's going to go here on this panel. This one is not going to have so thick of a oh, that's just label. That's just label that's doing that. Whoa. Well, I don't think I want that then. I mean, I want that, but I want it for container or for panel. Okay, panel. And then not for label. How do we remove? Manage. Remove label. Can I copy this? Can I duplicate this? Alright, remove. Just remove it all. Alright, type. Alright, we're gonna make a style for panel. gonna look like what? It's gonna have a style box to it. Okay. Panel, styles, panel, new style box, flat. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Oh, and then it should have buttons, I guess? Because then we get the disabled for free, I think. Okay, but the panel itself, we're gonna get that nice parchmenty feel. Or maybe just a nice grayish color. It doesn't need a label, I don't think. Okay, that's fine. And so instead of having a label here, we instead have a button, because then we get the disabled. A button that brings up a pop, no, just a regular button. There we go. We want the buttons here to, yeah, you can have an icon. I don't know exactly how that works. What if I had this? Okay, that's a bit big, but I get it. That's fine. Flat? Oh, okay. Cool. And then we can presumably theme this same as we have here. Oh, do we need to include the margin? That feels dumb. That should just be there. Oh, panel doesn't need to be here. Okay, that's better. Okay, multiple buttons. Cool. Theme. Theming. Manage items, get rid of panel, apparently. And instead, create one for the vertical box container. And then do it. How do we do it now? Item panel, no, on theme item VBox container. How do I edit this stuff? This is weird and strange to me. Okay, here we go. Background color. That? Well, not that, but... No, stop. That. Sure, great. Do that. Now, why don't I see it there? Separation, huh? Okay, so apparently this needs separation. Content margins? See no changes. Order. This should affect this, right? Theme. Corner radius. Oh, what just happened? Seeing nothing here. VBox container style. Style flat. Corner radius. Border width, shadow, content margins. No? Separation. Why do I I need this on a theme override? Why isn't that just part of the theme? Oh, that's not helpful. So where's the background color on this V-Box container? Well, I guess we'll figure that out. Menus are going to be a dumb, annoying thing to look at for a while. What's a fun thing we can do instead? Draw some art. Make more art. The art is like the one thing I think that we can do on stream, and I don't feel like I'm just like staring at tutorials all night. Instead, we're just actually doing things.
Right.
We need more things. Start working on a partner art. Cat. The first partner is a cat. You got your very standard. Whoop, nope. Very standard. Where's the hotkey for circle? Oh, of course. Shift J for circle. The very standard layout for any character in one of these games is just like this.
Rapid Fire Future Direct Predictions, Rabble Dabble, Smash Clone, Marooned Rover, Space Survival Horror, Ball Thrower Pro, Throwing Balls to Dupus, Hover Cattery, Cat Hotel Sim.
Dupus. I like Rabble Dabble. That sounds pretty good. We should make that. Who won't? We should. Who wouldn't? Oh no. Oh no. Cat is a cat. And then you gotta have some kind of very round body. Because that's just what everything looks like. Big heads. Need some that were a game, everyone would love it. Girl cat. Goose visits. Goose! Okay. So the archetype of cat as a character. She's intended to be very self-serving, at least at the beginning of the game. There's character growth over time. But when you first meet the character, she is very much of the idea that she's putting herself above anything else. Very reluctant to the hero's call. And probably in the first scene that you meet your first partner, she will out loud discuss the possibility of selling you for scrap. A scaredy cat. Yes, that may come up. A lot of the early inter-partner humor will be a lot of the character, the other partners being very on board with having a big magical adventure where they learn the power of teamwork, whereas Cat will be very anti all of that. Hilarity ensues. I'd kind of pegged her as sort of almost a mechanic sort of character. Paste cake. Because that would fit well with the idea that, teaming up with a robot works well in the early game, because she may be able to start with some kind of repair ability of, grant the main character, heal the main character slightly during combat. She may be, so the idea is that you have this main starting area that is an uninhabited city that was once filled with all of these automatons. And then at some point, mysteriously, the city just closed its doors and shut down. And it was of importance to the people around it, caused a lot of confusion, a lot of changes to their ways of life. And so Cat specifically is going to the city to basically pilfer scrap metal. She is there to be a cat burglar. So she'll probably have a wrench that she'll swing as a weapon. That doesn't read too well. This is just outlines. Don't worry about it. Stop trying to be perfect. Hand on hip. And big wrench. Cloud Strife? Exactly. Now, whether that will translate directly to her main ability, I'm not sure. She may be the always necessary in these games hint character, since she's the first one you get. And there is importance there of having some ability to say, I don't get the puzzle, can you please tell me how to do it? Let's see here. Goggles. Maybe a bit stereotypical. There's a start there. Music. Cat gadget. Yeah, cat gadget. What if gadget, but cat? I don't know if the overalls work exactly. Or maybe they're just too low down. Put a little pocket. There we go, a little pocket. Yeah, maybe something like that. Let's oops. Just refresh the chat instead of hitting Control R on this. Let's try this. Give her kind of a... kind of... I think the big pocket works better, at least for now. Giant wrench might be too big. I don't know. Bandage on the tail. Oh my gosh, brilliant. That's good. That's good. Little oil smudge. I don't know. I don't want her to look too like garage, like she's working on cars or something. But maybe just a little bit of texture or something. A cracked goggle. Yeah. Turn things with her wrench. So, I don't know. I feel like her field power, at least at the beginning, is supposed to be give me a hint on what to do. Lower bridge, then you cross, have to bring her over. Ooh, splitting the party. Scary. From a technical perspective. Plus, Dabble's thing is going to be spinning gears, because he's got the big gear on his back. But yeah, some kind of puzzle elements. Yes, GQ. There we go. Why didn't I think of that? Giant wrench feels huge. But I mean, she does need an attack. I'm thinking the tattle business will just be anybody does it, but the partner, whoever the current partner is, maybe is the one that comments. Of course, that would mean requiring different tattle information for every enemy. Like Bug Fables did. A tree. Not a cat tree. Yeah, that would add up. So maybe she gets the tattle ability in combat. And then with leveling up at some point, gets the ability to heal the main character or supercharge, like tune up. Automatic accent swapper. Ooh, no, I think we would. Ooh, I mean that would be tempting. Good question. Is that where? Is that? Yeah, maybe that is how she holds the wrench. One would be a cat burglar. That's the idea. Is that she's there getting scrap. But thieving it. So the area you start out in the game is this massive cog-filled, like temple-like city called. Well, actually, I don't have a name for it yet. She's some kind of secret cat, exactly. And not to give too much away, but the game starts with Dabble switching on alone in basically this abandoned city, in some kind of like workshop or something, due to, in the current script, due to a lightning strike. Minor platforming to teach you the basic controls of like just jumping over things, moving around, opening doors, get you used to it. And as you're doing so, you see a figure. First enemy is going to be a rat, and you are going to be rescuing Cat from the mice. Because she is a scaredy cat. I don't know if it'll be alluded to, like, directly, or if it'll just be left to the player to draw that connection. But as you're, like, running around on these interior places trying to find your way out of the building, you will see, in the illumination of the thunder, of the lightning strikes, a silhouetted figure darting around outside the windows. Alright, with a big cigar and a bowler hat, heck yes. The Rat King. So basically your first order of business is going to be kind of getting out of the city. There's going to be a structural failure of some sort that traps you within the bowels of the city's underground. At which point you will stumble upon Kat, who is pinned down on top of something. Is it some kind of factory? The part that you see immediately will not look like a factory. It'll more look like city streets, like vaguely medieval-ish looking, cross brace architecture. Second floors that extend slightly further over the first floor. It's kind of like narrow passage kind of streets. But the center of the city will be this massive temple-like structure that's of grave importance to the plot. Yeah, you kind of fall down underneath, where it's not. It's kind of like infrastructure of the city. You rescue Kat, who's also gotten trapped down underground, and you can't proceed without her help, and she can't proceed without your help because of reasons. Contrived platforming puzzle reasons. She is of the idea that maybe she can sell you for a lot of money. Dabble, as a general rule throughout most of the game, is not going to have any thoughts. It's going to be just this weird, just always watching, never interjecting critter. Like, the party is going to be all the personality. Guess we're stuck together. But down there, Dabble is sort of drawn in a specific path, as though something deep within his very programming is taking him somewhere. And that is where Kat will learn, and I guess Dabble will learn, of the Golden Gears, the MacGuffins. Kat initially is thinking that's going to be worth a lot of money. Let's go find those. Before kind of slowly coming around and learning about the true purpose and all this other stuff. And like, okay, greater good, fine, sure. Always a mural. It'll be the analog of the 1,000-Year Door. It is like, okay, we need to get the MacGuffins and bring them here. Continue through more minor platforming puzzles, sprinkle in a little bit of variety of combat, mostly rats. A Golden Gear. 7 of them, exactly. But yeah, initial main goal is just get out to Kat's village, encampment, where she and other various people are living kind of just outside of the city, of the old city, in this sort of conglomerate of mostly thieves, I guess, opportunists. The actual city, the big abandoned city, will probably act as the hub for travel, maybe? I do want the players to have to pass through it a few different ways. But then maybe for actual, like, people hub. That will probably be this sort of tacked on pop-up town that Cat lives in. Maybe once there, get a little bit more information about the importance of the gears and what they are, which Cat is mostly not listening to at first. But because of some clue gathered while in the city, you know, time to go off and find one of these things that we happen to now know where it is. And then that kicks the chapter by chapter pattern into gear. So we need Cat. Like, this looks all right. It's the right idea. I'm not sold on the gear or the wrench entirely. It's close. But it, like, looks awkwardly long, but maybe that's fine. Interacting with, like, her using her wrench on things could be a thing, but I worry that will be kind of a lock and key puzzle. It's like, it's a big bolt. Swap to Cat. That is the general style. Typically is round, very round, and that will contrast heavily with Dabble being very, very square. I think every single partner in the entire game is going to be some sort of animal. And also be fairly round. Spoilers, there's going to be a penguin who is basically going to be looking like this. Something, you get the idea. Or maybe earmuffs. What if they're differently shaped? Tricky. Have a hexagonal goat. Alien fish taco. Tacos are planned in the game, purely as a GQ reference. There's going to be a restaurant in a food court, and it's going to be called the Taco Ranch. That's a non-negotiable. Great, cool. Let's try fleshing it out a bit. Can we work on Taco Ranch now? Absolutely not. Alright, so we need this one. Is that where the ear should go? That's probably where the ear should go. A skunk companion. A skunk bundle? I don't have a skunk companion planned. I don't want to give away all the companions, all the partners, for risk of massive spoilers. That's it. You got it. Dang it. Can't keep anything from you guys. The cat thing, of course, of course. Lines in there looking good. Let's kind of reduce the pixel size here. That looks alright. Face will need to be a separate layer, because we need to be able to swap that out with alternate faces. Like for talking and such. Very unamused. One eyelash to indicate femininity. Whiskers. Big red bow. That's how you know. If there's any. It'd get too busy if I do like a cat on top of all this. So we're not going to do that. But I think a bow might be a little too on the nose. Wait, that doesn't belong there. I guess. Put it on this layer. Maybe bright red lipstick. Oh, it's a joke, right? Right? I'm not giving her a bow. She does not want a bow. I can tell. I'm sorry, Mac. No bow. Okay. Body. You know what? Let's just do this. perfect ellipse. Incredible. Pocket. No arm. Very egg anatomy. Okay, so that'll be that layer. Then on top of that, we have the arm, which will consist of sleeve, furry cat arm, and glove hand. Glove hand. Gotta have the classic glove hand. Okay, and then the reverse side. Oh boy. This is gonna suddenly make this really annoying to animate, I'm realizing. Processing. Does she need to have... Yeah, she probably needs the giant wrench. It works, unfortunately. Not by much, but it does technically work. Okay, so let's do this, and then... make it fit a little bit closer to her head. Whatever we do here, this has to be something that we can recycle for lots of animations. So we need to make this the entire wrench. Actually, come to think of it, yeah, let's do this. Let's just draw the wrench. No. that little bit there. What's the hotkey for this? There's no hotkey for line? How is that true? Okay, and then just give it a nice little. Okay, there we go. There's the wrench. There's the wrench layer. Done. Let's go ahead and just color that one now, and then move it into position. We'll give it kind of a bluish, just ever so slightly bluish hue. First, let's get all these segments situated. Because then we can do a fill really quick. Great, beautiful, love it. Line tool. I'm still a huge noob on this program, so I've not found a better way to do this. This is not going to be the color of it. It's got to be lighter than this. But now we can lock the opacity, switch to a more brushy brush, give it some texture. It's cat. Of course. With a K. Let's give it a little bit of a rusty brushing here and there. Let's give it some smudging. A little bit more wear and tear. There we go. All right, we can now merge this. These are not going to be. We're not going to twist it into place because we're gonna split these apart into a single recur. Oh no! It's just crazy enough to work. All right, this is gonna be. Oh, see, this is gonna be tricky to have the hand over it. Yeah, the back is going to need, that back arm is going to need an arm sprite and a hand sprite. Oh no, you're right, Mac. Well, it's going to get weird because it's going to be flipping around left and right. So any words that put on there, they're going to get mirrored half the time, and that's going to look really bad. That's why all the characters need to be pretty symmetric. Because it would be really annoying otherwise. So this is going to be like a really awkward setup here with the hand. Should I hold the hand in front of her? Or hold the wrench in front of her? Is there a way we can make that work? Alright, can we duplicate a layer pretty easily? Copy layer. Face layer? Move layer? Wait, what if this... And then... take this one... Trying to visualize it. It's not quite there. No, I don't think that'll quite work. Actually, this even on its own. This wrench isn't big enough for the original pose we had in mind. It needs to be significantly longer. Okay, that's fine though. We can work with that. A handle or a grip on it, probably. I think it'll be okay. I don't think it's that awkward. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. Because now you kind of do this with this sort of faux over-the-shoulder pose. I guess what you kind of want to have is like I'm holding it in one hand by the end, and I'm hitting my other palm with it. In which case, the smaller one actually works out all right. We might shift it back. I don't know. We've got a general idea of how it should look. Let's color some of these other pieces in a little bit. New tab. Extend a wrench. Now we're talking. Alright, what color cat are we dealing with here? Gray cat. Gray cat does seem pretty nice. I did a test orange cat, which I'm sure we all saw that in the testing phase. Gosh, orange is a vivid color. Yeah, let's start with just filling in the shape. So that we can lock the opacity. And then we'll play around with it a bit. So first of all, lighter gray. Maybe even lighter than that. This could be brighter. Make up for that. Okay. Yes, I'm still listening. A little pink in the ears there. Okay, a little bit of white stripes. A little patch of white here. Right around the face here. Pretty good, pretty good. And we may have a face that we can swap to with more open eyes. All right, goggles. We've done goggles before. We know how goggles work at this point. Whoa. Start with a nice glassy blue. And then let's have some nice brown-ish. No, let's go for like a coppery. Oh yeah, there we go. And then we grab kind of the brownish leather strap. right, all right. I am not quite digging it yet. We're gonna save it. Pick away at it. Little art blocks of just working on art assets are a good way to kind of do stream stuff without just getting bogged down in programming. Some stripes. I don't know. I don't know if it's the color that's not right. But there's something about it that I'm like, it's not the character that I'm visualizing yet. We'll get there. Probably. Hopefully. Alright, so and also I gotta figure out the combat menu as well. But so far we got our system going. Now the enemy can actually attack us. We respond by having a little damage face and everything. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I love the delayed jumping animation here. It's so good. It's exactly what I want. It's exactly what I want to happen. Okay. Yeah, tonight's progress was mostly just proof of concept around combat actions being somewhat easy to add in. Like this is not bad if things aren't too crazy unique. Like if everything can be made of the same basic building blocks, every one of these actions, then we can wind up in a situation where these can be stored not in code, but in basically a text file. That is relevant because that makes adding new moves something that you could add with modding, which is weird that would even be a thing. But yeah, that would be pretty cool if you could actually create entirely unique enemies and attacks just by editing some configuration files. That's one of those like would be nice but will be pretty tricky in practice. But I want to keep that in the back of my head for designing these systems. All right, let's see here. Anybody we know? Not. What is it with? Why am I always the last one on? The nerve. We will not be back Friday, most likely. I'm gonna be playing at a wedding on Friday. I don't expect to be back for stream on that day. Sunday, we will be back for OwlQuest, Dungeons and Dragons, with the crew, and then more game dev stuff returns on Monday. So everyone, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for hanging out. Congratulations, Dupu. All right, everybody, have a good night. I will see you around. Goodbye for now.